found that after experiences with concert and music, people found that it brings them closer together with others, forming a collective identity.
And I researched Disney and their impact on children as far as socializing children through a cultural imperialistic way. One thing that I found to be very important was that children learn to associate poverty, crime, and violence through visual depictions that Disney employs in their
My name is Mary Scott, and I did the role social networks have on family communication privacy, primarily asking if families believe that social networking websites can reveal too much information about their families. The most interesting thing I did find was that out of all the illnesses that I had asked, cancer was the most likely to be posted about, and HIV, AIDS, and psychological disorders were something that everyone would refuse to talk about. But other than that, they do feel that often online social networking websites can reveal too much information about themselves and their families.
My name is Brittany Hunt, and I researched self-disclosure about race and multi-ethnic relationships. And one of the most interesting things that I found was that the amount that people self-disclose about race in their relationships when they're multi-ethnic is dependent on whether or not their family disclosed about race to them when they were growing up.
Yep, okay. What I've observed from my study is that when victims and families watch execution, they don't necessarily find peace for themselves, and therefore death penalty doesn't necessarily work when it comes to achieving justice.
Hi, my name is Evan, and I conducted an ethnography, and I wanted to study how grief groups could help kids cope with their emotions and cope with their loss of a parent after the loss of a parent, because a lot of times kids don't have an opportunity to grieve properly because a lot of the parents and uncles and grandparents are grieving themselves. So grief groups give them a chance to have good grief and good emotional coping.
Hi, my name is Carrie Ryan, and I did a rhetorical criticism on the book Pledged, and I looked at the negative aspects in the book and stereotypical competition and grieving. I think something interesting that's further to this would be to look at different alumni perspectives.
My name is Alexis Lehman, and I did a research project on bilingual identity. I'm just fascinated by language and how that affects the creation of our identities. And so I got to interview 5 different people that speak different languages and that bilingualism is a huge part of their life. And so the main findings were that bilingual identity is very connected to culture. They're almost inseparable. And then also that there's definitely a feeling of wanting to be both, being able to express both identities, both languages and cultures, and sometimes you have to choose one or the other based on circumstances and situations and depending on who you're with, but there's a huge desire to be accepted and known as both.
My name is Joe Champion, and I researched the show Saturday Night Live, and I looked at how they portrayed 6 different presidencies. And my main conclusion that I came up with is that over the years the impressions have become a lot more accurate, and as the 24-hour news cycle has come into play, viewers have become more educated about policy, and they've been able to joke about more intelligent things compared to when they were just doing Gerald Ford having him trip over everything and be clumsy.
My name is Maggie, and I researched the effects of rap music videos on women in the 1990s and today, and I found that they are detrimental and make women appear as sexual objects and items of possession from the rappers in the video.
My name's Kat Williamson, and I employed a ideological criticism on the family network according to the media, and found that the media reflects the family to be white and nuclear.
Hi, my name is Jill. I studied cultural differences in popular literature and influence on society. I specifically looked at Battle Hymn of the Tiger Mother. It's a popular piece of rhetoric based on Chinese parenting styles. The most interesting thing I found was basically parenting styles are culturally specific, so in order to deviate from ethnocentric views, we must look at them from an ideological criticism.
Hi, my name is Manuel Chatters, and I examined communication between officers and enlisted members. I primarily focused on the Air Force, and I found out that military officers' role in the communication in the workplace plays the biggest role in how the communication flows.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Piper, and I am doing an empirical study on communication between spouses and children during deployment, which is looking at managing stability in the household. And the most interesting thing I found was Army Ranger wives could not initiate communication with their husbands overseas, so it made the deployment that much more harder for them to communicate and manage relationships.